Well, hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome. Happy Thursday to you. And really excited about today's show. So, I am live again from Traverse City, Michigan. And just an FYI, the Blue Angels are performing right now. Actually, I think they're practicing for their big 4th of July show. So, you just might hear some planes going by. It gets really loud when they fly overhead, which is kind of exciting. I'm so happy to have you all here today, and especially just delighted to have our colleague and personal friend, Cindy Carroll, with us today. And welcome, Cindy. Delighted to have you.
Oh, welcome. Thank you. I'm grateful for the invitation, Leslie. Really thrilled to be able to talk about my course. Really, the first public platform to talk about with you. So I'm
Yay!
really
Well,
thrilled.
it's been a long journey,
And
right? It has been
I,
a very long journey.
I'm almost speechless, and that's rare for me. So
All right. Well, this will be great. So, yeah. So, I mean, I've known Cindy, oh my gosh, how many years now? Many. I don't know. Quite a
going
few.
close to 10 maybe years. Yeah.
Yeah, long time. And and so I've seen really the transformation that Cindy has made from providing her nutrition services to her clients, and then really that transition into teaching other professionals, right? So, just to give you a little bit of background, today we are going to be talking again. We're going to be talking to Cindy Carroll from the Institute for Functional Nutrition. How exciting! And specifically, we'll be talking about nutrition and system biology, a review of the 8 systems. So I think you guys are going to find this super helpful. And then we'll be segueing into an opportunity a little bit later. And Cindy will be telling you more about her newly approved for 70 CEUs, which is amazing. Um, and it's a course that she'll be telling you more about, covering those in tons and tons of detail, the 8 systems, right? So, all right. So before we jump in, just a reminder, my name is Lesli Bitel. For those of you that don't know me, big warm welcome. So happy to have you guys here with me today. I think this will be a good investment of your time as we do a review of those 8 systems and specifically how they relate to functional nutrition. And so let's go ahead and jump in. So, Cindy, tell us a little bit about your journey. So I kind of know your journey, but our audience doesn't. So, like, let's give them. Well, first of all, just want to mention Cindy is a nurse and a dietitian. Like, she's got like the entire alphabet soup after her name, and is an awesome practitioner first and foremost. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about the backstory?
Thank you, Leslie. So I have been in private practice almost actually over 30 years now. And so I jumped into private practice pretty early on in my career. And actually, one of the things I say in the introduction to my course is that my first career was as a hygienist. Well, not that many
That's
people
right.
know that about me, but I knew pretty quickly that wasn't the career for me. So I switched into nutrition early on. But actually, the dental hygiene content plays a role in my course. We talk a fair amount about that in the beginning of the course. But I started into private practice early on, have had it for about 30 years, and am winding it down now and sort of shifting, as Leslie said, into this more education and help mentoring other colleagues. And one of the things I realized as I practice, and I think I just kept this course in my head really because as a nurse, nurses are sort of trained according to the systems. It's really how we think. And I think it's actually a pretty pragmatic way to understand the human body. And although, we tend to, not that we're getting away from it, it probably sounds pretty obvious, right, that the systems, but as we think about being more holistic, we can sort of forget how each system is set up. And each knowing that, having that sort of foundation information of how the systems are set up it enables us to understand how they're connected, and then that helps us get the whole. And when you think about how long ago our anatomy physiology courses were, right? I mean, mine was a long time ago. I had to take it again for nursing school because had expired. And that's such a core, that core curriculum course is so applicable to all of us. And so just this course has been in my head for a long time, but I think as I continue to practice, I just realized how important the knowledge is of the systems of the body to really help us to assess labs and biomarkers, to think about diet. If we don't really understand these systems and the organs and how they're connected, other than this course that we had long ago, then it makes it hard to really, I think, adequately assess. Because we don't want to arbitrarily order labs just because we hear other people say they ordered a certain set of labs. So you really want to know the rationale behind it. So that's sort of the backlog, I guess, as to how I started to think about this course. And I really wanted it to be a continuing ed course because I wanted people to get credit for it, because this is so applicable to what we do, right? Everyone in the allied health field, it's really applicable information. So
I love that. Well, I want to go back even a little bit further because I'm guessing our audience is curious about how you were in dental hygiene, and then I think you became a dietitian, and then an RN.
Right.
Tell us just a little bit about that, and then let's maybe jump into those 8 body systems.
Okay.
I'm just guessing that our audience is a little bit curious, right?
That's the right order of events there. So I would say, with all due respect to my dental hygiene friends, and because I have some very close friends in the field of dentistry and dental hygiene, it just was the wrong field for me. So I jumped into it right after high school, actually, and became a hygienist. And back then, you did need a bachelor's degree. So I was working when I was 20 as a hygienist, and I worked for 10 years. Knew right away, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can keep doing this. So I switched actually really early on into nutrition, and I did the Plan 4 route. I ended up actually getting my bachelor's degree in dental hygiene, but I did the Plan 4 to get my nutrition dietetic stuff, which was almost another bachelor's degree. And then the internship and graduate degree, which I do feel like my graduate degree, I still am so grateful for what I got it in, because I know there's so many programs out there, and I see some younger dietitians struggling as to how to choose a program. And mine sort of had a dual function in nutrition, biochemistry, and sports nutrition. And I saw a lot of athletes early in my career. And that combination, I still draw upon that background for what I do now. So, and it really helped in the development of this course. So then I went on to in different, a couple of organized medicine institutions, Mass General, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. But I started my private practice at the same time, part-time, actually back when there was no insurance. So we hadn't been approved to do insurance yet. So back then I actually did fee for service. Then it was approved for us to do insurance. And so for 10 years I took insurance, but then I found out about Lesli and I worked with Lesli for a few years a year, right? We worked together for about a year. And
a solid year.
Transitioning me out of insurance. She just, a wealth of good some common sense, but we just don't know how to apply it, information. So it's been a continual learning curve from Lesli. And then so that's where I started to continue my private practice, but doing packages, and it really extended what I was able to do, because I took my time and found the clients that really wanted that. So, but now I'm at a point in my career where I've been practicing over 30 years, and I'm really ready to wind the direct care down and work with other colleagues in an education program. So, and then the nursing happened along the way too. And I think if I were younger, I did some clinical nursing. If I were younger, I probably would want to do more clinical nursing. I really loved it. but I want to use that nursing background to help educate other nurses too. And it's
What made you go for nursing?
what's that? It
Yeah, what
kind of
made
was,
you go? Yeah,
it
what
was a,
made
it
you?
was
Because
a
that's a
bucket list.
lot.
It was a bucket list thing to do. And
Okay.
unfortunately, we had some injuries that sort of prevented me from really fulfilling it the full way I wanted to, but I knew I at
Yep.
least wanted to get my RN license. And uh, it's been a huge benefit to my private practice. I can't even tell you. It's very beneficial. And so, uh, and it's helped me develop this course. It's really kind of what the fully cemented the idea about the systems approach and not forgetting the systems. I think we can be on criticize traditional medicine because it's so segmented in the systems of the
Mhm.
body, and I can appreciate that. However, unless as long as we are always thinking about the whole, we've got to be able to understand how the systems are connected. And, I really think of primary care doctors and family docs, they're sort of systems biology specialists when you think about it, because they're thinking of multiple systems. And that's kind of my broad goal for everyone who takes the course, is to be thinking about multiple systems all the time, regardless of your area of expertise, regardless of why your client is seeing you. They might be referred for a very particular part of the body, but you still want to be thinking, even if you're, even with eating disorders or a very specialized area, you want to be at least in your mind having multiple systems going. So,
Absolutely. That makes such sense. So I think what you're saying is the 8 systems, which we're going to segue into in just a moment, really helps you to get underneath what's going on with the patient or client, right? In terms of your assessment
absolutely.
process.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, so much so, it's how I devised my assessment tools. So in my practice, my medical history, everything was divided by systems. And it just made it for a much more methodical approach to how I did my history taking. And I did that time up front. I see a lot of, I know when people are working in organizations, it's hard to be able to take longer in that first visit. But so that was the other luxury in my practice. My initial visit was 90 minutes or 2 hours. And that initial work up front always paid off later on,
Mhm.
because I had the tools and I had the information that I had really gone through. Some of it changes over time, but it enables a just more methodical approach to understanding what's going on.
All right, well, let's dig into those systems, shall we? Can you give us, would you like to give kind of an overview of the 8 systems?
Sure.
Or, yeah, just to help our audience have a
Okay.
better understanding in terms of what they are and how you utilize those to better assess your patient and get underneath and identify that root cause.
Sure. So the course and the systems are, now I did almost a little template of this course a couple of years ago, actually. And
Uh-huh.
I shared it at Fancy. I had a table to see if there was any interest, and there was a very big interest. But then I expanded. The interest actually said we want to see more systems too, because I had presented it as just 4 systems. But in my practice, I do more systems. So, and to make it a recorded course, actually, because they wanted to be able to take their time going through it. So the 8 systems that I cover are, and there is a particular order why I decided to do this order, but the digestive system, the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, the kidneys and renal, the immune system, hormones, which is sort of the endocrine system, brain and the nervous system, and the musculoskeletal system. And it's debatable how many systems there are in the body, depending on what text you look up. But I
Mhm.
sort of cover all of them, given the scope, being realistic about the scope of the course, because otherwise there's the reproductive system and the integumentary system, which is our skin. So I get to some of those extras that are I didn't officially cover. They're covered sort of in those systems as well. So those are the 8 systems.
Okay.
And then at the end, we actually talk about fasting. There's some bonus modules, one on fasting and how that affects the systems of the body. And then on taking a comprehensive history. So incorporating all of this knowledge and approach with these systems, how do you incorporate that into your assessment tools? And then the last module is just 10 case studies from my practice that I go over. So
Okay. Yeah, so cool. All right, so we've got these 8 systems, and is that the particular order, the specific order that
it
you?
is the order, and
Okay.
they could be shuffled around, I guess. You know, it's on the Teachable platform, my course, and so as I say in my introduction, you can go through the course any order you like. But I did have a particular order because, well, as a nutritionist, right? How could I not do the digestive system first? But that
Right.
is the longest system, and it really it's the, I call it the conduit system, because it connects to the rest of the body. So there is a particular order I had in mind, and it makes sense to me. We'll see if you think it makes sense for people
Yeah.
who take the course. So
Okay, so basically you're teaching your students to go through, like, let's just pretend we have a client in front of us, right? So you're teaching them to use the assessment tools within these 8 systems, right? To better assess the root cause in terms of, obviously, what's, what is the trigger or the triggers leading to the symptoms and the issues they're having, and as well as the care plan, I'm assuming, right?
right,
Okay.
right. So the course is set up within each system. There are 3 sections, and each section, so the first section is what I call structure and function, which is essentially anatomy and physiology. And that's sort of the foundation for the course. I set sort of as one of the reviewers described, I'm paraphrasing here for her. So there were 3 reviewers for the course to get the self-study credits, and I'm not doing her comment justice, but she said the course was sort of a condensed version of taking all the complexities of each system and the important, complexities of each system and condensing them into this comprehensive course. So I'm trying to take a brush up of the important anatomy and physiology that's relevant to nutrition, because you're going to take that structure and function and apply it to the next 2 sections that are within each system. So that first section is the structure and function, or anatomy and physiology, and we go through, this is a heavily researched course. I lost count, but there's over 500 resources.
Oh my gosh.
Studies that you have, who takes the course, I have given you direct access. They're all downloaded studies. They're in a file, categorized file according to the systems and then subcategorized according to topics. But then the second section of the system is biomarkers and labs. So using that knowledge of your, brush up of understanding that system, how to apply it to the relevant labs and biomarkers that will best assess that system. So even for clinicians that can't order labs, this is helpful, because when you're looking at a medical history, you want to understand the rationale behind the clinician's reason for ordering the labs. And, when you figure out and understand, how the kidney works and the dynamics within bone and the heart and all of these things and how they're set up, it'll help you, even if you can't order the labs. And of course, if you are able to order labs, it makes the process, I think much better. So that's the first 2 sections. And then the third section within each system is the diet and supplements, of course, because this is all sort of pointing towards helping assess the diet better. And again, it's keeping all that structure and function in mind of the body, the anatomy and physiology, to understand what nutrients are relevant. And I have to say, this part of the course was fun for me. The recording part wasn't as fun. I learned.
Why not?
Oh, gosh. I learned a lot about myself. I think I did get all my ums out of me after the first module. I did better after that. But the diet and supplement section was an opportunity to really share a lot of nutrients and the research with them. So, because when you think about it theoretically, every nutrient is attached to affects every system. And that's probably one of my biggest takeaways, I hope, from even just today's talk with you, Leslie, is for clinicians not to forget nutrition is applicable to every discipline in medicine because it affects every system in the body. And
Yeah.
so, but it would be beyond the scope of the course to go through, of course, every nutrient. So I was able to select a bunch of nutrients within each system, and it's a huge literature review. So I go through a lot of studies and show what is out there for evidence of how that nutrient is affects that particular system. And what's interesting is that there are some repeat nutrients. So that was a little intentional redundancy on my part. So you can see that some nutrients have an effect across the whole body. And then there were some nutrients that are pretty unique, that have a unique effect on just, one or two systems in particular. So, yeah.
You've got my curiosity piqued on that, for sure.
Yeah, and then and there's, of course, the gut microbiome plays a pretty big role in this whole course. This gut to really system access. It's not just gut to brain or gut to heart, it's a gut to system. You could fill in the blank with the system. And I have the research to show it. It's very interesting. I think we are, really on this trajectory of understanding the gut microbiome better, how it affects the whole body.
Okay, so do you remember the day I'm sure you remember, right, Cindy? When we learned in school, it was just a food tube, pretty much, right?
I know.
You guys remember that? There was
I
no
do.
such thing as the microbiome. There was nothing. It was just there. Just digest your food. That's it.
I know.
How things have changed,
Things
right?
have
Now
changed.
you're saying there's a connection with the digestive system to every body system.
Right.
Every single one.
It's kind of coined the gut. I said it's a gut organ access in my course, and we address it in every system, actually. Even
Yeah.
the musculoskeletal system, we address it. Very
Wow.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay, would not have guessed. All right, well, you definitely have my curiosity piqued on that for sure, and those specific nutrients as well. Yeah. So, what about? Tell us a little bit about your thought on the fork to cell approach. In terms of just like what it is and how it's often overlooked.
So that's sort of my, I guess, maybe weak description that I came up with it,
I like it.
rationalizing the idea behind understanding the systems. Because as nutritionists, we tend to focus on, especially with my background, I focus on the biochemistry because nutrients are absorbed at the cellular level, right? So we know a lot about food and nutrients, and we know all the biochemistry, all the metabolic pathways, all of the crazy pathways that are pretty intense pathways, right? But all of that in between, so I say fork to cell, all that in between is essentially anatomy and physiology. And that cellular absorption would not happen without understanding all the connections in between. And that's why, we take it for granted, I think, our A&P course. And as I said, it was a long time ago. So although this isn't a full A&P anatomy and physiology course, it's a condensed version of the parts of the body most important to nutrition.
Mhm.
And I really think it helps us and will help the student become more of a critical thinker, assessing, and truly N equals one, because you're going to be thinking about how the body's working and connecting to.
I love that. And let's just be honest, it can be especially when you first dip your toe into functional nutrition specifically, it can be a little scary, right? Because, you know what I'm saying,
I
right?
do
You want
know
to
what
have
you're saying.
that, yeah, like it just because it's huge. So you just want to have I just think it's great that you're providing people with kind of a blueprint to help them go through the kind of like a checklist, right? To help them methodically go through that whole assessment process to be really thorough and like I said, very methodical about it.
I mean, I like how you said a blueprint, because I sort of describe the systems are like a roadmap. So sort of the same thing. It helps guide you to think about, the entire body. And to your point about functional nutrition, it is scary because getting to the root cause, I mean, we're not doctors. We're not, unless you're a nurse practitioner or you have an advanced degree and you dive into any one of these areas yourself. I mean, I think what I have found for myself is that understanding, going back to the roots and the foundation of anatomy and physiology really helped me get the body better. And if you have a good grasp on that, you're going to be able to understand the root causes better. So it really helped me apply my functional, knowledge as a practitioner better, which sort of, reminds me of, I often say that, because I know there's different definitions for what a functional practitioner is, but for me, I take that word functional very literally. So I think of how nutrition affects the function of the cell and the organ and the systems, and then ultimately the person in their life, hopefully one way or, it's affecting it in some way. And so that's just personally how I practice functional medicine or functional nutrition. And so getting a grasp on these systems has really helped immensely for me.
Yeah, it's I would just imagine it really is going to catapult the level of confidence.
Yes.
That your graduates experience working in the field of nutrition, functional nutrition specifically, right? And who wouldn't like more of that, right? Certainly. Why don't you give us an overview then? Let's go talk more specifically about your program.
Okay.
What is the name of it? Just tell us, kind of give us an overview of like what are the different things included. I know that it is approved for 70 continuing education units, which is amazing.
Yes.
And that would be for LDNs. So even our listeners today that are not RDs, but are licensed as LDNs, right?
Yep.
And
That was
of course,
RDs
and DTRs. So 70 CEUs, guys, that's a huge number for a program that is going to, you're going to eat it up. No pun intended, right? Because it's stuff that you guys already love, right? And I think at the end of the day, it's just going to really increase your confidence in practice. So with that being said, give us the name of the course, a little bit about some of the inclusions, and just anything that you think would be helpful.
So the name is pretty straightforward, so I didn't want you to forget it. So the name is Nutrition and Systems Biology, a review of 8 systems. And that's exactly what it is. We walk through 8 systems, plus the bonus modules that I mentioned about fasting and taking a history and the case studies. But attached to this course is a very hefty toolkit that you get. And it's really a sort of a toolkit that I'm going to continue to add to some extent for the people to take the course. And although I shouldn't jump ahead, who knows what any of us are doing 3 years from now, right? But this course is good for 3 years. I'm even thinking of how it would be easily updated to increase, add to the content, but update the information, because it's a 3-year cycle with these courses. And
in terms of continuing education.
Continuing ed.
Yeah. Oh my God. So you have to go through that whole process again in 3 years.
I would have.
That's a big nut. But anyway, we're not going to worry about that because we're at the beginning phase right now. You just
got. But that's how excited I am about it, is that I can.
Yeah, like you're already thinking about, what's next?
But so
what's the toolkit? Tell us more about that.
The toolkit includes the slides into the course that are attached to the videos, of course. So the slides are to be a self-study course. You have to have, that's what really is, that's what requires the reviewers, the 3 reviewers, and also what makes up your credits, actually. So the self-study came to the video slides, not the videos themselves, but the time that you watch the video. So there's at least 40 hours of videos, depending on how long it takes you to go
Wow.
through the videos. And
Okay.
then there's the slides that are attached to the video. So those slides are downloadable for you, and they are a lot of content on there. So you could, I know one of the reviewers actually, would use the slides to read when she wasn't watching the videos too. So there's, you could do it that way, but it's a great resource, just the slides. And then there is an array of handouts that I wrote that are applicable for each system. And they're sort of the style of the handout that your viewers will be able to get on the Dropbox. There's a basic systems biology handout that sort of sets the stage for what this content is. But the handouts cover all the systems. It's sort of a summary of the systems, a lot of information in them. And then in addition to that, for people who take the course, they get the bundle of handouts that I sell separately on my website. And those handouts are, they contain a lot of additional tools, sort of cues to get into this mindset of thinking of multiple systems. And there's several ebooks with them. So when my website comes up in a couple of weeks, hopefully we're not long, you will see it's very well laid out on the course page, all the things that are included in this course. But in addition to that bundle of ebooks is this file, this reference file, which is how I developed the course, really. So I'm not kidding, there's over 500 papers there.
Wow.
Over the last 2 years that I've been reviewing. And they're all downloaded, categorized, and within the Teachable platform, they're within each system. But I'm also going to add them to my website in a login section for people who take the course to be able to access as well. And I'm going to continue to add to those reference papers. So there's quite a lot of hands-on
And it looks
stuff.
like we have a question about, yes, we have a question. Yes, you heard correctly. 70 CEUs, which
Yes.
is, I mean, it pretty much covers you for the 5 years.
It does.
Especially considering, I think we still have to have like, is it 1 or 2 CEUs for like for the ethics,
and ethics,
right? So yeah. So all things considered, you're pretty much good to go with Cindy's course for sure.
And comprehensive. It's a comprehensive course. It covers a lot of ground in the body. So
yeah, I love that. Yeah, any other tidbits that you want to share about it?
So I'll just say,
helpful?
if you can jump on my waiting list, then you will be able to be part of the exclusive offering I'm going to have. So only people on the waiting list are going to be able to get it at the reduced price when it first comes out. It's going to be a pretty reduced price, 50% off the valued price.
Whoa.
So for just a period of it's about a 3-day window. So I'll be sending newsletters out to everyone on the waiting list as we approach closer. So you'll have the code to be able to take advantage of that offer. And so the website in the course will be up at about the same time. It is in the Teachable platform, which that was a whole process to decide a platform, but I am pretty satisfied so far for the
Teachable's great.
Yeah. For my type of course, it's really it's been easy to upload the information, although there's been some tech issues just in terms of the videos themselves, but that's another story, but we're resolving that. So yeah, I think it will be, I'm very excited, Leslie. I really am. I'm excited for students to be able to take advantage of a program that they can get most of their 5 years on and really get a comprehensive view. It's not, although there's so many wonderful courses out there, many of them are very focused on one area. And so this is really an opportunity to learn a lot about the entire body as it relates to nutrition.
The systems and how they interact. Exactly. Now, I did attempt to share kind of a long link in the comments. Is that the correct link?
I think it is. Yeah.
It's a Dropbox link.
Yep. It is.
Okay,
I hope
cool.
it works.
So,
Let me know if it doesn't work, and I'll work on that. But I think that's
yeah, where else should we send everybody to get more info? Should we
so. I
send them
guess
to a
again, it's just
URL?
you can go to my website, which is www.ifn.health,
Okay, ifn.health.
and you'll see the landing page there, which is my waiting list for the course.
Okay.
And I'm putting sort of alerts on that waiting list too, to let people know when the course is going to be coming out.
Okay.
And then also on my Facebook group, you can join my Facebook group.
Oh, yeah.
Nutrition and functional nutrition and systems biology for dietitians and nurses, for RNs
Okay.
and PDs. And we have a nice little group that talks. So I would say one of the differences with my group and some other groups is that I provide the content. I do some summaries of research and I'll put it out there. I provide a fair amount of research actually in my group. And so,
Yeah, you have a great group.
you're welcome.
What is the group called again? It's kind of a long name, right? So
It's called Functional Nutrition and Systems Biology for RDs and RNs.
okay. Functional
We have a bunch of
nutrition.
nurses in the group too, and who contribute, some
RDNs and nurses. Okay, so let me just add that Facebook group. Okay. All right, so here is the Facebook group, guys. Functional Nutrition and Systems Biology. Hopefully I got this right, for RDNs and nurses. Is that correct?
I think I don't know if it makes a difference when you type it in, but for RDs and RNs.
Oh, got it. Okay, RDs and RNs. Okay.
I think it'll come up.
I think it'll pop up. Yeah, it should. Yeah, and we have Lindsay here. Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Hey, Lindsay.
Lindsay's an advocate for the group. And Cindy, we have a question about the investment level. Is that something that you can talk about now, or?
So I think more to come on that, and when it'll be on my website. So I'm not going to keep you guessing. Once the website comes,
Okay.
out, it'll be on there. But I'm going to wait until the website,
Yeah.
and then. But just that the initial offering is going to be 50% off the valued price, and then I think you'll see a fair price for what you're getting. And then, but I'll wait until my website's up. So just a couple more weeks, and you'll have that information.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. And that's ifn.health.
Yes.
ifn.health. Okay. Awesome. Do you guys have any questions? Those of you that are listening, and actually, even if you're catching the replay, I would encourage you, ask your questions, because Cindy and I will go back and we'll make sure that you're well taken care of.
And I answer my questions in my group.
She does. I can attest to that, which is pretty amazing. And Lindsay has a question. Will you accept payment plans for the course?
Possibly. Yeah, okay. Possibly. So I haven't decided that yet, actually, Lindsay, but I'll get back to you. But it's a good question.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
Lindsay has great comments in my group, by the way.
I can tell.
She's been a great contributor to the group.
Lindsay, you're on it. Happy to have you here with us today as well. Okay, so Dawn, I think we got at least your question answered for now in terms of the investment level. So Cindy will be announcing that here shortly. But again, I think to me, one of the key takeaways is that if you put your name on the wait list, which doesn't mean, it's not like you're committing 100%, right? You're just putting your name in the hat.
Right.
So go ahead and do that. I would recommend that you do it so that you can take advantage of the 50% off.
Right, absolutely. It's not a commitment. You're not held to that. It just shows me who's interested in it, and then if you decide to, you can make a decision within that when that initial offer comes out.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So, Cindy, any parting words of wisdom? If there was one thing that you wish people knew, what would that be? Any thoughts? Put
here.
you on the spot, right?
Oh, I mean, about my course and about just in general, I think,
Life.
let's
How's that?
see. You know me,
Life.
Leslie. I could go on for a long time here.
I
So,
know you and I could both go on and on.
uh, I guess just really, I mean, not to go back to this point that you said, but I do think we become sort of system limited, as I say, where we get
Okay.
specialized. And even in
Uh,
nutrition, we get
True.
specialized. And it's not a bad thing to know a lot about one area by any
Yeah.
means. But it just goes back to this idea, at least get some foundation knowledge on the rest of the body, because you want to know how it's all connected, because nutrition, I so believe, and it's part of why I was so passionate about going into nutrition, is that it's very unique discipline in medicine. And when you think about it, of course, I'm biased. I think it's probably the most complex discipline in medicine, really. But it's the only discipline that's truly connected to every system in a very intimate way. And so, of course, we feel underappreciated sometimes in medicine, but I think we've got to get the word out, because it makes nutrition related to every single medical discipline. So each one of those disciplines that it's attached to those systems, nutrition is connected to. So I guess to answer that is just the wide range in which nutrition applies
Yeah.
to the body.
Yeah. And one thing, piggybacking on that, before we hit the go live button, Cindy and I were kind of chatting about how it even applies, even if you specialize in eating disorders,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
What the
So
thought process there?
just that, I think when we're in certain specializations, and the idea, the specialty, and I used to work with a lot of eating disorders actually when I was at Mass
Mhm.
General, and Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare too, because our office was on the mental health floor. So I saw a lot of eating disorders. And in eating disorders, every system is affected, for sure. Certainly the musculoskeletal, the nervous system, the GI,
Right.
the heart. I mean, all of the systems are affected.
Immune. Yeah.
And so, I mean, that would be a good example actually of a condition that is really multi-system, that you want to have an idea of the entire body. So, um, I guess maybe a better example I should have said was like cardiovascular, because when
Yeah.
you think of dietitians or nurses that work in a cardiovascular unit, they're very focused on the heart and the vessels, and that's important, but it's attached to the rest of the body. So we want to understand what's going on in the other places.
Exactly. All right. Sounds great. All right, guys. Time flies when you're having fun, right? So
Leslie, thank you
it
so
does.
much.
It goes by so fast. So just a quick reminder, I'm going to put Cindy's website up again. It's ifn.health.
Yep.
So go there. Is your freebie on your site?
It will be. I'll
It
put
will be. Okay.
I'll
So
put
it's
it
not
up very
yet.
soon. Oh, it will be on my website for sure.
Okay. Good.
Um,
Okay.
I'll see if I can put it up on that landing page. Right now, it's just the landing page that has the wait list, and then my updates as to when exactly. So right now, the projection is hopefully, 10 to 12 days. We'll see. Don't hold me to the exact day, but
Yeah.
we're getting very close.
Okay.
I'm
Awesome.
thrilled with it. It's been a bumpy road actually for a number of reasons, but I'm so thrilled to be able to have
Yeah, to finally get that approval, which was a very,
it's a
very
long
intense
process.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
long process. So I'm
So,
grateful to my reviewers too. I just want, if they're watching, to thank my reviewers who did an awesome job and hung in there. There's a lot of material for them to review.
yeah. I'll bet they learned a ton, though. That's the good news, right?
I think so. I think they
So, all right, guys. So, again, if you're watching the replay, please feel free to add some comments and questions, and Cindy and I will circle back around to make sure that you're well taken care of. And Cindy, thank you so much for
thank
joining me
you.
today. Really
Thank you, Leslie.
appreciate your, that review of those 8 systems and how critical they are to uncovering the root cause and really helping us as practitioners to develop super effective care plans with confidence, right? And that, I think, is the key here. We're going to really ramp up the confidence level with this course. So, all right, guys, I will look forward to seeing you next week. Same place, same time. Thanks again, Cindy.
Thank
Talk
you,
to you all
Leslie.
soon.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.